You have eaten meat that you trusted completely. So did Frank Morrison. 9 days later, worms were eating his brain. He was 58 years old, a machinist from rural Pennsylvania, and he had been hunting wild boar in the same forests for 22 years. He knew how to field dress an animal. He knew how to build a fire. He had done this so many times that it had stopped feeling like something that could go wrong. On a Friday night in October, Frank and 3 other men cooked wild boar over an open fire at the edge of a clearing in the dark. The meat smelled the way it always smelled. It tasted the way it always tasted. One of the men said it was the best boar they had ever made. Frank ate more than the others. He always did. He was hungry and cold, and the food was good. He went to sleep in his tent that night, feeling completely fine. He did not know that something was already living inside that meat. And he did not know that the next 9 days would end with a neurologist standing over his hospital bed, trying to explain what was moving through his brain. Here is what none of them knew. The worm had been living inside that boar's muscle tissue long before Frank pulled the trigger. The moment he swallowed it, a process began that would not announce itself for days. By the time Frank noticed the first sign that something was wrong, the parasite had already left his stomach. It had left his muscles. It was inside his brain. What happens in between should be in every hunting safety manual ever written. It is not. The parasite is called Trichinella Spiralis. You have probably never heard of it. Almost nobody does until it is already inside them. Here is what makes Trichinella unlike almost any other foodborne parasite. Most parasites that enter your body through contaminated meat stay in your gut. Your intestinal wall contains the fight. Your immune system flushes it out, and you recover without ever knowing what it almost became. Trichinella does not fight there. Within hours of entering your stomach, the larvae hatch from their cysts. They burrow into the lining of your small intestine and begin to reproduce. Within days, new larvae enter your bloodstream, not on the surface where your immune system can find them, but carried through your own tissue, into individual muscle fibers. They drill in, coil into a tight spiral, and encyst. Your body walls them off. In most cases, they calcify over months. You carry them for the rest of your life. You never know they are there. In most people, the infection stops at the muscles. Here is what nobody tells hunters. What determines whether Trichinella stops at your muscles or reaches your brain comes down to one thing: how much you ate. The higher the parasite load, the more larvae flood your bloodstream. At a certain threshold, they do not stop at muscle tissue. They continue into the central nervous system, into the brain itself. Wild boar carries the highest Trichinella load of any animal hunters eat in North America. Not because the animal is unusual, because wild boar eat everything: infected rodents, infected carrion, contaminated soil. By the time a boar is shot, the parasite density in its muscle tissue can be many times higher than in regulated commercial pork. The meat closest to the bone, the part Frank ate most of, the way hunters always do at a campfire, never reached the temperature that kills the larvae. It looked done. It tasted done. The fire was hot and the night was cold, and nobody checked. Frank ate more than anyone else at that fire. That is the only variable that separated him from 3 men who drove home fine the next morning. This is Trichinella Encephalitis. The larvae invade brain tissue directly, not the fluid surrounding it. The tissue. Your immune system responds by causing the brain to swell inside a skull that cannot expand. Pressure builds. Neurons die. He woke on Saturday morning with stomach cramps. Not severe. He had driven 4 hours home the night before. He assumed it was the food, or the beer, or the long drive. He took ibuprofen and went back to sleep. By Sunday, diarrhea had started. His temperature was 100.1 degrees. He texted Karen, stomach bug from the trip, feeling rough. She told him to rest and drink fluids. He agreed. He had work on Tuesday. He assumed he would feel better by then. He did not go to work on Tuesday. By Wednesday, the stomach symptoms had faded, but his legs had started to hurt in a way ibuprofen was not touching. Deep, muscular pain, like he had run distances he couldn't remember. He assumed it was the hiking. He assumed he had overdone it on the trail. By Friday, exactly 1 week after the fire, Karen found Frank sitting at the kitchen table at 3 in the morning, staring at the far wall. When she spoke to him, he turned slowly. He said he could not sleep because of the pressure building behind his eyes. He said it had been there for 2 days, and he had not wanted to worry her. His temperature was 103.4. She did not ask if he wanted to go. She drove him. Inside his brain, the larvae were already there. The emergency physician ordered blood work. The results came back within the hour. Eosinophil count critically elevated, white blood cells mobilizing in massive numbers against something not yet identified. He asked Frank what he had eaten in the past 2 weeks. Frank told him about the boar. The physician left the room. He came back with the infectious disease physician on call. She looked at the results. She looked at Frank. She asked him to squeeze both her hands as hard as he could. His left grip was significantly weaker than his right. She asked him to follow her finger with his eyes. He could not track it smoothly. She ordered an MRI immediately. The images came back showing lesions distributed throughout the brain tissue, not localized to one area. Throughout. She came to the waiting room where Karen was sitting alone. She said, "There are lesions throughout his brain tissue. We do not yet know what that means for him long term." She paused. She said, "We need to start treatment now." Karen asked if Frank would be okay. The physician did not answer right away. Here is what the United States government requires when a wild boar is killed. Nothing. There is no mandatory testing system for wild game in America. A commercial pork product passes through a federally regulated processing chain with contamination controls built in. A wild boar shot in a Pennsylvania forest and cooked over a campfire falls entirely outside that system. The USDA has no jurisdiction. The state hunting authority issues a license covering bag limits and caliber regulations. None of it mentions trichinella. None of it specifies the internal temperature the center of wild game meat must reach to kill the larvae. None of it tells hunters that meat can char black on the outside while the interior stays below the kill threshold. The kill temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Frank Morrison did not know that number. He had never been told. 22 years of hunting, and not one regulation, not one warning, not one piece of paper had ever reached him with it. That is the system failure, not Frank, not the boar, not the fire. The gap between what the government knows about trichinella in wild game and what it tells the people eating it around campfires every hunting season. Frank Morrison was sitting at one of those fires in October, finishing the last of his plate, feeling completely fine. He had been doing it for 22 years. Nothing had ever told him to stop. Frank Morrison spent 11 days in the hospital. He received albendazole and high-dose corticosteroids to reduce the swelling. The lesion stabilized. The larvae died. Karen drove him home on a Tuesday morning. His neurologist told him some damage was likely permanent. His grip strength in his left hand has not fully returned. He tires more easily than before. He takes longer to find words in conversation. Whether any of that improves over the next 2 years or stays where it is, nobody can tell him yet. His hunting rifle is still in the truck. He has not moved it. He told Karen in the first week home that the hardest part was not the hospital. It was knowing he had done this exact thing 22 times before. The same forest, the same fire, the same meat, 22 times without a problem. He just never knew what was inside it. If you hunt wild boar or any wild game, cook the meat to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit at the center, not the surface. The center. A thermometer. That temperature kills trichinella. Color does not. Appearance does not. And if you develop severe muscle pain combined with swelling around the eyes and a fever in the 2 weeks after eating wild game, go to an emergency room. Tell them what you ate. Ask them to check your eosinophil count. 1 blood test. That is the difference between catching this in your muscles and finding it in your brain. Frank Morrison ate wild boar around a campfire in October. He had done it 22 times before. The 23rd time was the one with the worms. This is system failure. I will see you in the next waiting room.